Hey guys, how's it going? F8 Alpha here and welcome back to the channel. Today we're back in World of Tanks and we're having a look at the newest addition in the premium shop once again. We're having a look at the Lorraine 40T. This is a tier 8 French medium tank and it is available from August 10th until September 5th. So you have a little bit of time to figure this one out. Also, a quick note is that there's a special going on for 24 hours where you can get the Lorraine with the special, with 3 special camouflages, a 100% trained crew, and of course the other equipment involved. But let's go ahead and look at these bundles that Wargaming has set up for us. We have the Lorraine basic bundle, which is $47.99. Of course, that you get the Lorraine and a garage slot. Then we have the Lorraine loaded bundle, which you get the Lorraine, a garage slot, a gunline drive, improved ventilation, and a vertical stabilizer, in addition to 1,500 gold, and that is $59.99. And then we have the Lorraine Ultimate, which is $79.99, and of course that you get the Lorraine, the garage slot, gunline drive, improved ventilation, vertical stabilizers, 4,000 gold, 1,600,000 credits, 7 days of premium, and a multiplier of 5 for the first 30 wins in Lorraine, which would be handy. Just a quick side note before we transition into the comparison here is that in the premium shop right now, there are quite a few premiums that are discounted. I will go over them very quickly, and this is for a 2-day discount. This is basically the weekend they will be discounted. So if you're looking at picking up one of these tanks, I would highly suggest it. They're about 25% off. So let's go through the tanks very quickly. We have the SU-122-44. We have the AT-15A. We have the Type 6, or excuse me, the 6 heavy tank number 6. That's a tongue twister. We have the Skonda T40, which I've done a review on. We have the STRV M4257. We have the Type 64. We have the SU100Y, which I've also done a review on. And, of course, we have the Dicker Max. Additionally, we have, of course, the Poodle and the special bundles for the Lorraine, which are available for 24 hours. So, if you get a chance, check out the premium shop. Now let's go ahead and push forward to the comparison here. See what you're getting with this Lorraine and how it stacks up compared to other tanks in this comparison. For this comparison, I will be comparing it to the AMX CDC and to the Panzer 58, which will be available later on this month. So keep that in mind. I will be doing, of course, a separate review on that. Also, a quick note is that the Lorraine is a auto loader and has a 4-round drum in it, where the other two, the AMX and the Panzer 58, are not. So just keep that in your mind as I'm going through this comparison here. Now for DPM, the Lorraine has 1,713. The AMX CDC has 2,057, and the Panzer 58 has 1,877. When it comes to penetration, the Lorraine is the best with a class-leading 232 millimeters of penetration, which is outstanding for a tier 8 tank, tier 8 medium tank. I think it is the best actually at tier 8 as far as premium tanks go. The Lorraine, excuse me, the AMX CDC and the Panzer 58 have a joint 212 millimeters of penetration. Now we're talking about alpha damage here, the one-shot damage of a shell. We are talking about 300 for the Lorraine, which is the best in this comparison, followed by the Panzer 58 and the CDC with a 240 joint. Now when it comes to fire rate, it is kind of a blurred line, as I mentioned earlier, as the Lorraine is a autoloader, but the Lorraine has a 5.7 rate of fire. The CDC has an 8.5, and of course the Panzer 8 has a 7.8. The Lorraine has a clip reload time of 34.5 seconds. Of course, that can be reduced with ventilation and brothers in arms and things like that. That'll help improve the reload time of that drum. The intra-clip reload, so how long it takes to basically fire a shot and reload your next shot, is 2.5 seconds, meaning that this tank can unload its entire drum in 10 seconds. So you're basically doing 1,200 damage in 10 seconds, as of course if you penetrate your shots, obviously. A quick side note is that the Lorraine and the Panzer 58 have an ammo count of 48, which is somewhat low. It's not terribly low. It's not dangerously low, but it is lower in this comparison, as the CDC has 90. Let's go ahead and move forward to gun handling. Let's look at aim times here. We have a 2.5 for the Lorraine. We have a 2.1 for the CDC, which is excellent. And of course, we have a 2.2 for the Panzer 58, which is very good as well. Now, the dispersion is a little bit the dividing point here, one of the dividing points. The Lorraine has a 0.36, which is okay. The Pentrate has a touch better at 0.35, and the CDC has the best at 0.33, which is pretty good. Now, when it comes to depression, the Lorraine has 8 degrees, the CDC has 10, and the Panzer 58 has 10 as well. But of course, these are medium tanks, and we should talk about their speed because that's what medium tanks are somewhat known for. The Lorraine can travel at 60 kilometers forward, 23 in reverse. The CDC has 57 forward, 20 in reverse. And of course, the Panzer 58 has 50 forward and 20 in reverse. Now, the power to weight ratio is very important, especially in a medium tank or light tank. But since we're looking at mediums here, let's keep on track with this. The Lorraine has a 21.2 power to weight ratio. The CDC has a outstanding 35.2 power to weight ratio. And the Panzer 58 has a 17 horsepower per ton ratio on it, meaning it is the slowest and also has the slowest top speed. However, the Panzer 58 does have the best ground resistances, so it can keep up with the Lorraine, although the CDC will outrun it because it has that astounding 35.2 power to weight ratio. Let's go ahead and look at the armor and health on these tanks. The Lorraine has a hull armor of 40 on the front, 30 on the sides, and 25 at the rear. The turret on the Lorraine is 45 at the front, 30 on the sides, and 20 at the rear. The CDC is the worst in this comparison. Obviously, it's not known for its armor. It is 30 on the front of the hull, 20 on the sides, and 20 at the rear. The turret is 30 on the front, 20 on the sides, and 20 at the rear. And of course, the CDC is like a barn. It is a huge tank. It is really lightly armored, so HE absolutely destroys that tank. Well, let's digress here and get focused back on the armor. Let's go ahead and look at the Panzer 58. The hull has 90 at the front, 30 at the sides, and 40 at the rear. The turret on the Panzer is 120 at the front, 65 at the sides, and 40 at the rear, meaning it is obviously the best in this comparison. Now, when it comes to hit points, the Lorraine and the Panzer 58 have a joint 1,300 hit points, and the CDC has 1,400, but as I said, it's going to use those hit points very quickly because it will not deflect hardly anything, or actually anything. Just a quick mention here is that the shell cost on the Lorraine are 1,030, which is pretty expensive for standard shells. The CDC are 255, and the Panzer 58 are 300 credits per shell, meaning that the Lorraine basically has triple the cost when it comes to shells. Triple the replenishment cost there. When it comes to equipment, I would recommend a vertical stabilizer, I would recommend ventilation, and I would recommend a gunline drive. This will help with reload times and aiming time, and that is all important on an autoloader tank where you're trying to get that damage done as quick as possible. A quick note is that the crew on the Lorraine, there are only 3 crew members. So some of these crew members have multiple jobs or multiple skill trees that you have to go ahead and select from, meaning that if one of these crew members gets knocked out, it is fairly devastating depending on which crew member gets knocked out, as your aim time or your driving or your reload time, all that stuff is very affected by one crew member being knocked out. How to play the Lorraine 40-ton? It is basically, this is like the ideal flanker here. Obviously, it has no armor, so you're not going to be frontline brawling with this, like say a T-54 prototype or something. That is a pretty decent brawler for a medium. This is, like I said, your ideal flanker. You will be taking the flanks. You are fast. You have an autoloader, which means you can unload that damage and run away or get cover as quick as possible. And that's what this tank is all about. This tank doesn't have very many hit points. The armor is very lackluster, meaning that if you can fire those shots and get into cover, that is what you need to do with this tank. My thoughts on Lorraine. Personally, I enjoy this game. When I initially picked it up, I was not a fan of this tank because I didn't fully understand how to play it. I had played autoloaders in the past and had a bit of experience with them, so I thought I knew what to do with this tank. What I didn't realize is that the speed of this tank, combined with the basically no armor, made this tank incredibly susceptible to dying very quickly. Also, you're a bit of a larger tank. You're not huge, but you're not small, meaning that you get spotted fairly easily, not as easy as something like the CDC. However, you do get spotted more often than not, which means that you need to go ahead and get yourself in a position where you can get cover or pull back once you go ahead and take that flank. This tank, I would say, is a pretty good purchase or pickup if you're looking into a French crew trainer for something like the Bat Chat line. You're looking for that tier 9, tier 10 Bat Chat action that has a 3 crew member crew in it. This tank will accommodate that very well, in addition to making you piles of credits and experience to go along with that. So my thought on this tank is that if you're looking into the French line, go ahead and get this. It is a fun tank to play once you understand how to play it, that you're not taking the charge, you're not taking the lead, that you're basically the second line, which is kind of a good thing, but sometimes you want to take that active role, and I would say be careful with that, because this tank will be taken out very quickly, as it does meet tier 10s. So with that said, that's my review of the Lorraine 40-ton. I am F8 Alpha, and I will catch you guys next time.